Hi there, I'm Lisa Carlton with College Matchpoint, and today I want to talk a little bit about readiness for college for students with learning disabilities. I wish I could tell you that there's one little formula, and if you applied that, you'll know if your student is ready or not ready for college. Of course, most of you have been on this journey having a student with learning disabilities for quite some time, so you already know that that formula doesn't exist, right? But I do want to talk about 4 things that I think are good clues to if your student is moving towards readiness for college. The first, I would say, is self-advocacy. If you were to poll many people who work with students with learning disabilities, we always come back to self-advocacy. And when I say self-advocacy, it's really two-pronged. It's, do I know what I need help with? So if I'm struggling with a section in Algebra 2, do I know how to say, I tried to do this problem and I got stuck here and I can't seem to go any further? So that's part 1, can I identify the problem that I'm having? Part 2 is, do I know who to ask? Who would I go to? Would I go to the teacher? Would I go to a learning center? Do I have a private tutor that I work with? Is one of my parents really good at math and I can ask them? So who would I go to advocate for what I need? When we look at success in college, I cannot underestimate how critical this skill is and how much we want to be developing this in high school, because it is a gold mine if a student can get it right. The second piece that we want to look at is, in addition to self-advocacy, is how much is the student able to manage their coursework on their own. Again, knowing when to ask for help, but they're their own case manager, versus, hey, what do you have for homework tonight? Okay, when are we going to do that? That kind of thing, which we've all been there, so there's not judgment in that. But just how much is that translating to them finding a system that works to stay on top of their work? And if their disability includes something with serious deficits in executive functioning, do we have something in place that's transferable to college? i.e. that's probably going to be something different than mom or dad. But what are we going to use to help with those deficits? So can they manage their homework and schoolwork on their own? And is there a system in place to support any deficits there? That's going to be super important. The third thing I would say is the student excited about some academic subject? It doesn't have to be all academic subjects, but is there an English class that really grabbed them, or a science experiment, or a theater project, or something in school that's translatable to college? Because if the student really has found no passion in school, that's going to be tough to translate to college. So we really want to be looking at the positives, at the strengths, where the student lights up, sparks. Doesn't mean they aced it. We're not doing this on grades, but we're doing this on passion and interest, because the good thing about college is we can focus more on those areas. So for some of our kids, especially kids with ADHD, we often can see an uptick in college because they're able to hyper-focus on those areas they like. So we want to know, has the student cultivated some kind of academic interest in high school? And the last piece that I think is really critical when looking at success and readiness is there some sort of steady trend in high school? Have their grades evened out? Even if it's in the B-, C+ range, has it kind of evened out? Are we done doing this? Because this is a pattern we don't really want, the ups and downs as a student goes into college. Now, none of these things in and of themselves ensure that the student is going to be successful in college, but they are a beginning spot to begin to have that conversation and to begin to evaluate where your student's at, and if they're not succeeding in these areas, some spaces that you may want to look at and say, hey, how could we set some goals so that we can get there and get ready for college? Thank you. Have a great day.